Hello, I'm Josh with Waupaca Community Media, and we're with Peg Burrington from the Waupaca Area Public Library for our monthly check-in. And hello, Peg.
Good morning, Josh.
And normally on these updates we do at the library, we talk about maybe some upcoming events or what's going on. Today we're going to do something a little bit different. And everyone's been in this state of flux for about the past 2 years with COVID, and things have been different. We've done things different ways. Priorities have changed. And what you want to talk about today are different things as a library, as a community, we've learned due to COVID. And one of the first things you want to talk about, and from my perspective too, that's just at the forefront is internet access.
Well, absolutely. So many of the government services have gone online. You can't even register for unemployment without going online. Our job services are closing in the area. To get any kind of government service, even registering for a COVID test or a COVID vaccination requires the internet. So the internet is absolutely essential. It's kind of like in the 70s when I was growing up, how the telephone was to your to your family. You had to have a telephone because you had to be able to call school, you had to be able to call your doctor if you needed an appointment, all of those things. And now what's happening is we're shifting from that stationary telephone that comes into your household that somebody stands and you have to hold it, to those little things that we carry around in our pocket, and the absolute necessity of having access to the internet.
And one of the positive benefits that came out of the COVID pandemic is internet access is at the forefront now. There's funding coming out there. There's plans being put in place to expand internet access, and time will tell if it all works out that it's a broad enough reach to get to everyone, and that's hopefully what happens. But the library has provided assistance over the past year or so with internet access, and tell us about some of those initiatives. And I know the hotspot was a big one.
Sure. So we received a grant from the Waupaca Area Community Foundation and the Community Foundation of the Fox Cities to provide hotspots for our library patrons, and we had 13 of them, and they were always on hold. And as of December, right around the end of December, we had 61 unique users. So that means 61 households had access with our hotspots, and we had 205 checkouts, and we continue to check those out. And it's interesting because some people are using them for job search. Entertainment is a big thing, staying connected with family, health information. And we gathered all of that so that we know why it's so important. And we do have those results, and I'm happy to share those with the community. We were concerned because our funding runs out next month, and we have a little bit left over from the grant period. And then we had a donor to the Waupaca Library Foundation who's going to be funding us. And we found a cheaper alternative to the US cellular hotspots we were providing, and we're going to be able to provide 10 hotspots for a fraction of the cost of what it cost us for the 13 we had before. So we are going to have a little period in there when we're not going to have hotspots for people. So February is going to be a little bleak, and I apologize. We're open. You can come in and use the computers here. But then in March, we should open up again with 10 new hotspots for people to check out.
Perfect. And going right along with the internet, we're in this virtual world now. We, just like this interview and past interviews, we're not in the same room. We're not in a studio together. We're doing it virtually over the internet, and you've found what a huge reach doing virtual programming has.
Well, I think when we first were shut down, it's like, why would we want to get online with people? And then we realized that it's the only way to connect. And so we started providing programming. Our story times are all virtual now. And the neat thing is that families can log in when it's convenient for them. They don't have to say, oh, I've got to be at the library at 10 o'clock on Thursday in order to go to the story time. So our reach has been extended. We're reaching so many more families with our virtual, where they are, when they need it. And so that's been really great. And we also have those live virtual programs where we're doing book discussions and having life class And so those work too. And what we found is that we can reach more people virtually than we did in person. And so that's really changed the way that we thought about things. I know the first thought I had when we shut down was, do I really want to get online and talk about books with other people? And now it's absolutely. And we have people who log in from Milwaukee to come to our book discussions. So our walls have gotten even larger. You know, there's just no limit to where we can reach with the walls that we have now.
So you take the virtual programs the library's doing, the help with internet access, and one of the things you've found going through COVID is how relevant libraries still are. Not only checking out books and getting materials, but all these other things that you've added or are doing differently.
Well, you know, when I went to library school, and that's been over 20 years ago now, they were saying, oh, the book is going to be dead. And it's just not true. People are still reading books. They're still accessing information at libraries. I mean, there's just so much that they can do here that they may not be able to do from their home. And, you know, we've added additional services. So Ancestry Online was available from your house, not just in the building. And of course, Overdrive with downloadable books and downloadable audiobooks have become extremely popular. And so while our circulation of physical materials may be going down, it's being evened out by that circulation of e-materials. And in September, we were actually able to add an additional service. It's called Hoopla. And it is a downloading platform that's different from Overdrive. The items that are available on Hoopla are always available. You don't have to wait in line for the next available license. So Hoopla is always available. It has comics, it has videos, music, ebooks, e-audiobooks, and it's always available. So I know when I want to go and get an audiobook that I want to listen to while I'm taking a walk or taking a drive, I don't want to have to wait for that book that I want. And so by going to Hoopla, I can find a title, download it immediately, and listen to it right away. And it's being launched very slowly. It's 3 downloads per card per month. But we want to really see that pick up this year and have more users of it. So please call us, stop by, and we can get you started with Hoopla.
Very cool. And just to wrap up this whole conversation about all these shifts, all these changes, all these things we've learned over the past 2 years, what can you sum up as maybe one or two of the biggest changes that has influenced the library through all this?
Like our safety has been top, you know, always at the top of our list, is to make sure that people are safe and healthy. And, you know, curbside service is not going away. People like this. It's great. You know, I've got 3 kids in the car and I don't want to drag them out because it's cold. So I'm going to stop at curbside and I'm going to get my books and my materials and take them home, and then we'll go eat dinner. You know, people still come into the library because they want to browse, but that curbside service is so important for our people with mobility issues, families, even people who are in a hurry, you know, and it's available from 9 in the morning till 8 at night when we close. So call us, get your items curbside instead of having to park and then come into the library. So that's a big thing. And I think convenience-driven services is something we have to look at. We also have to go where the people are. You know, our children's department didn't sit in the library and wait for families to come in this past summer. They went to the parks and provided great services and programs in the parks and met people that hadn't necessarily been to the library before. So there are a lot of families that are struggling right now, and we just want to be able to reach them where they are. And you know, I hate to say it took a pandemic to get us to leave the building, but we're not going back to the way it used to be. We're going to continue those services that we found that are relevant.
Well, Peg, I appreciate the time. It was nice chatting, a little bit of a different topic this month with the library, but just looking back at what's happened and the changes and how things are evolving. And it's kind of exciting to see this, not just with libraries, but just things that are coming out of the woodwork in general that are positive from everything going on.
Yeah. And Josh, I'm going to be watching from a distance because after next month, I'm retired. So I'm going to watch all these great changes as they happen. I'm just going to be down the street where I live, and I'll be in my community, but watching the library from a little bit of a different perspective.
Well, congratulations on the upcoming retirement. That's got to be exciting to be just about there.
Thanks, Josh.
Thank you, Peg.